Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I trust that you're all doing well out there. I'm doing pretty good up here in the great frozen north, as the snow is absolutely just flying outside right now. But I don't mind a little bit of snow leading up into the holiday season, so I've been enjoying that as it's been, all that white stuff has been falling from the sky upon thy lands. Anyhow, looking here at Ethereum versus USD on the daily, I figured we'd do a quick little update here. And Ethereum looking a little bit stronger than Bitcoin at this point in time. As a matter of fact, when I come into ETH versus BTC, it becomes quite obvious on this chart here. I mean, we see Ethereum put in a pivot down here around the 200 EMA, works its way up, puts a little pivot here, comes in, another pivot here, and then to an all-time high, taking out this all-time high back here, coming in around May 14th, 15th of 2021. And overall, just looking quite strong. And now we've got ourselves another pivot point coming in off the 30 here. And, ETH is certainly looking a lot stronger than Bitcoin and outperforming Bitcoin at this point in time. However, I don't think Ethereum's necessarily going to run away without Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was to take a cataclysmic dump to the downside, likely ETH would get pulled down a little bit with that as well. However, it is probably more fair to look at this and think perhaps ETH is just simply leading the market, as I've seen Ethereum do that in the past. So if Ethereum can pull through, then perhaps it drags the rest of the market with it. So only time will tell with that. But heading back over here to ETH versus USD, we see a little bit of buying interest coming in from the bulls right here. We see a big wick coming down to this horizontal at 3,670, and then we see a few more wicks testing that area just down here. But we do see price action coming up, putting in a test on the 10 simple here, getting a little rejected at this point in time. And we do see just up above that is also the green 55, yellow 21, and we have the 30 up above that as well. They've got some negative slopes to the downside, but nothing super aggressive here. However, if Ethereum is to continue to roll over here and get back down to this level around 3,670, I would suspect it would likely break at that point in time and probably put a test at least down here to the 200 EMA coming in around 3,442, and over time I would be looking for the white 200 on the daily to get tested around 3,273. Now that's multiple steps ahead. It's a little bit too crystal ball-y for me, but that is certainly a scenario that could play out if that condition gets met. And as you can see, even if price action was to do that, that would still, assuming Ethereum based down around those levels, it would still be a higher low, in this overall uptrend that we've been seeing with Ethereum. So price action still looks good all the way down to those levels if it wants to continue to pull back. And I'd likely be viewing that as a buying opportunity. Now, if we come out to a weekly quickly and have a look at that, you can see there's a little bit of confluence there as well. You do see that the 30 simple's just poking its nose up above that level there, and pretty good confluence. We've got the weekly 30 there, and we have the daily 200. So assuming price action gets all the way down there, likely a pretty darn good bounce. But as of right now, we see that for a long time here, all the way since July 26th, we have not even seen a weekly candle close below the 21, and I simply cannot get bearish on anything that is opening and closing candle bodies above that 21. And that's what Ethereum is continuing to do right now. So let's look for some conditions to the upside. Well, I think it's fair to say that if Ethereum was to get up around this level here, let's go ahead and just do something like that. 4,446, if we see Ethereum get up there, start closing dailies. I mean, I think that's fairly conservative. But if that was to happen, I mean, at that point in time, we would see price action well up above, the notable moving averages here. And I would say that's likely going to be initiating a test up to the all-time high, and getting up above there. Obviously, it's going to be very much price discovery, game on to the upside. But as a fairly conservative level to watch, I think 4,446 does it for me. Getting a closer up around those levels there. If ETH comes down, starts closing below 3,668, which is fair ways down here, then that's when I think I'd be looking for the scenario to play out where the 200 potentially gets tested to the downside there. Let's check out some of the momentum here. We see that the RSI is coming in and is rejecting from getting inside the bearish control zone. Once again, we saw a nice little test of it there and a bounce off of it. And as of right now, it's working its way up into the EMA here. That still has a slight negative slope on it. I'd like to see the RSI get up above there, confirm that as support. As you can see, looking left here, every time the RSI, spits up above there, it gives it all back right away. It breaks right down below it immediately. So it'd be nice to see the RSI get up above that EMA, start living up above there, and then from a momentum perspective, perhaps it would be signaling a little bit of strength. Coming down here to the Stokes, let's have a look at those. I'm just going to readjust my panel here. Stokes got just inside the bearish control zone here, looking to cross back to the upside. I'd be looking for these to try to get out of the bearish control zone, and that'd be nice to see a little bit of confluence between that and perhaps the RSI, and that would start to look encouraging that perhaps ETH is stuck in its low right here, but I'm not convinced that it necessarily has, being that it still has some room to move to the downside here, and the uptrend would still look just fine. Volatility down below here is contracting just a little bit. It was getting a little bit hot there. Not too bad. We didn't see it flash red or anything, but it did hit up around an 84, and it certainly seems to have its sight set down here on the EMA. So perhaps it comes in, puts in a little bit of a test on that EMA. And we'll see what happens from there. So overall, right now, Ethereum seems to be just playing out a bit of a range. Could it stick in? Could it have bottomed on this horizontal here? It certainly could have. It's around that 3,668. And if it has, that would be looking really, really good, you know, as we're getting those higher lows. If ETH wants to take a bit of a tumble here and come down and test around this level here, I'm personally going to be viewing that as likely a buying opportunity for the very long term on this chart, around 3,273. So it remains to be seen if it gets down there. I'm not currently opening any trades at these levels. I took some profit on Ethereum as well as Bitcoin when it was trading up in these areas here, and I'm quite happy with that. That worked out good for me. And then I actually stuck a little bit of I got more exposure into the market, not in Ethereum, but I got some on Bitcoin when on this wick right here. So I'm sitting comfortable with that, and I'm just going to be pretty much sitting on my hands, and I'm going to let the market sort itself out here as we come into the holiday season. And if we see some resolution here, then perhaps I will consider putting on some risk. But yeah, those are the big levels I'm watching. Breaking down below this horizontal here, probably is going to initiate a test down around that 200 simple, and getting some closures up above this level here. I mean, some people might even be looking for that if it starts closing above 4140. A little bit too cavalier for me, as we do see that you know, we still got lower highs here, right? I'd like to at least see this pivot get taken out, at least with the data that is currently available to us right now. Anyhow, thanks so much for coming by and checking out this video. Hope you're all doing well out there. Looking forward to seeing the next one. Take care.